Hi there, Ryan White for highpointmusic.com.au. In today's video on the Line 6 Helix LT, we're going to go through a quick start tutorial to give you a fundamental understanding of the operations and get you up and playing with the unit as soon as possible. Firstly, I'll show you how to operate and control the front panel of the unit, while in the second part of the video, I'm going to teach you how to navigate through the banks of patches and begin assembling your own catalog of sounds before demoing some of my favorite sounds that come straight out of the box as presets. Okay, so starting off, we've got the overhead view of the Helix LT control panel on top. We're going to begin with our volume knob here on the top right, which controls the output of the unit to our interface or PA system, whichever you're running it into, and then you've got your expression pedal off to the right. If we move on over to the tap tuning button, this allows us to access our tuner by holding it in. You can tune your guitar up, and then when you're ready to exit, just tap it once. And if you would like to control, for example, say the speed of your delay repeats, you can do so by tapping the tempo which you want the delays to delay or respond at. Okay, so the next one we've come up, we've got the mode button, which switches us between pedalboard mode and snapshot mode. Here in pedalboard mode, we can set the effect blocks to correspond to our assignable buttons on the control panel. For example, you can see we're turning effects off and on here. And then if we go to snapshot mode, this allows us to make multiple changes to our signal path here, which we can assign to just do so with one button, which is a very cool and powerful live performance tool. So we'll switch out of that. We'll come over to these up and down control knobs here, which allows us to access the patches in the folders that are saved in the Helix memory here. You can have either a factory preset folder or your own user folders. For example, this is one of my user folders. And to change patches here, I've just pushed that once, and then you pick the corresponding patch you want to change to. So we pick this one. If you want to change to just a corresponding patch which is right next to the patch you're playing at, you can use this preset knob up here as well. But otherwise, if you want to make fast changes where you can see what you're changing to, click that button and then pick the patch that you would like to change to. If we come up here now to the top of the unit, we've got the view button. So if you push that one in, it switches between what we've got in our screen here, which is set up like a traditional pedal board, or you can push back and you've got the signal path of the unit here. So that's how you can switch between those two, really simple. I'll just move this along because this next button, the amp button, highlights a really cool function if you need to access the settings on your amp in a rehearsal or in a live setting. You just push that button and it automatically takes you to the amp, in which you can alter all of the settings with the knobs and buttons here. And then to scroll to the other extended settings on the amp, you can just use this page button to navigate your way around that. Alright, if we come up here, we've got the bypass and action button. So really simple. The bypass button turns our effect blocks off and on. The action button brings up a menu that allows us to either copy the block, paste the block, clear all blocks, and add our current effect setting to favorites, which we can withdraw and put in to other patches that we're building or we find and we want to add to a lot down the track. To get out of that, we've got below our control knob or joystick here, which moves up, down, left, right, spins around, and you can push it in like a button as well. When you push it in, it brings up all the options that we have at our fingertips on the Helix to start building our patches. So amps, cabs, preamps, impulse responses, volumes, wahs, filters, everything, modulation, delay, reverb, distortion, dynamics, EQ, everything you want to get your fingertips into to start sculpting your sounds on the Helix. So if we come out of that, then we'll come over to these two buttons here, which are pretty self-explanatory. We have the save button. Okay, you push that button, and then to save your setting when you're ready, you just push that button in. Okay, and then that's how you go about saving your patch. And then we've got the menu button up here, which we push and brings up our options to go in and edit the bypass assign, the control assign, the command center, the global EQ, or access the global settings. So for this part of the video, I'll show you how to navigate through the banks of preset patches in the Helix LT and begin assembling your own sounds. This is a great way to get a feel for the capability of the unit and potentially spark your own inspiration and begin modifying these sounds into your own. After that, then we'll jump into the playing demonstration where I'll run through some of my favorite settings that come straight out of the box. And just like to mention, there are several really cool sounds in the factory presets, so plenty to dig your teeth into there with the unit. Okay, so to begin playing through the factory presets in the Helix LT and then start cataloging the sounds that we like into banks, let's go through, and we need to start by pushing this preset button here. So you can see we've got factory 1, factory 2, user 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then templates down here. So we've got 8 folders at our disposal. And then what we want to do is we then want to go up and use factory 1, because that's the first factory folder that we're going to be looking at. So if we come through here, we can scroll through all the options that we've got available today. And before we start diving into these presets, for the purpose of our exercise today, we're going to start saving our folders or our patches to user 2. You can save them to any user 1 you want. It's just I use user 1 for my work here. Okay, so user 2, that's where we're going to save it. So for example, we're playing through, love the sound of this US small tweed, absolutely digging it. So when we bring that up, what are we going to do to start saving that? We're going to hit the save button. That's our first button we need to push. Then we're going to come down and we're going to take this knob underneath this where it says set list. And we're going to turn that, and as you notice I turn that, then I'm changing the folder that we're accessing here. So we want user 2 and new preset. So set list, user 2, and then we've got our destination here, which is 2A. We want to save this as the first patch in user 2, so we want that to be 1A. We push that, and then that takes US small tweed 1A. Okay, if we want to go back to our presets, and we are going to make, because we're in user 2, we come back, we scroll through factory 1, and we scroll through and we play some other sounds. The really cool thing about this set or this page in front of us is you don't actually have to click through to begin playing it. Just with the emboldened text, it's changing the preset and allowing us to hear what that sounds like with our guitar. So for the purpose of our exercise, we're going to grab the Essex A15 as our second patch. We love the sound of it, and we want to save this next to our first patch here. So we push the save button, and then we make sure we have the correct set list, okay, which is user 2. So turn set list until we get user 2. And then we want the destination to be 1B, because we had the small tweed on 1A. We save that to 1B, just like that, and then that saves it right next to it. So to access it, we pull up our menu here. We've got the small tweed and the Essex there, and we can just quickly switch between the two like that. So that's how you can go about experimenting with these sounds and cataloging them into your own banks for your own enjoyment and experimentation. Before we jump into the playing demonstration, people, just want to take a second to talk about the High Point Music Guitar Fundamentals program. This online course features all the unique methods and processes that I've developed and use with my one-on-one students to master the fundamentals of contemporary guitar. I don't want to take up too much time here talking about it, but I'd like to invite you to follow the links below to experience the results of this highly effective online course today on either an obligation-free trial or sign up for the full course at highpointmusic.com.au. So that wraps up the quick start guide to the Line 6 Helix LT. Coming up in the next video, I'll be teaching you how to set up a patch from scratch that will cover you for a wide range of genres and playing scenarios. Also, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you appreciate the content of this video. And don't forget to follow the links below to check out the High Point Music Guitar Fundamentals program or become a member of the channel on our Patreon account today. My name is Ryan White. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch up with you all in the next video.